Invaders finally discover the terrifying reason Earth is left alone. To the Exelon Conclave, Earth was an enigma, a small, blue-green world circling a middling yellow star, sitting quietly on the galactic frontier. No planetary shields, no orbital defense grid, no interstellar fleet patrolling its skies. By all measures, it was defenseless. And yet no one touched it. For centuries, other civilizations had skirted its borders. Raiders that plundered dozens of weaker colonies gave Earth a wide berth. Empires that crushed entire sectors simply ignored it. Even the Exelon themselves, conquerors of 12 systems, had been warned off by their trading partners. "Leave Sol alone," the Kalaria ambassador once said with uncharacteristic gravity. "There are forces on that world you do not understand." The warning had puzzled the Exelon High Council. What forces could such a primitive planet possess? Its inhabitants were barely spacefaring, their ships only capable of limping to their own moon. Their weapons were crude, their politics fractured, their biology unremarkable. And yet Earth remained untouched. That mystery gnawed at the Conclave for decades, until one ambitious commander decided to answer it. Part 1. The Decision to Invade. Commander Karthos of the Exelon Dominion was not a man given to superstition. He had risen through the ranks by relying on cold logic, ruthless efficiency, and firepower. To him, the idea that a planet could survive on mystery alone was laughable. His fleet of 6 war barges and 20 escorts had pacified the Draen rebellion in less than a month. His soldiers had conquered fortress worlds with shields strong enough to repel suns. Earth, by comparison, was a backwater. Karthos stood before the High Council and presented his case. This world is undefended. Its resources are plentiful. Its population, though numerous, is technologically backward. The only reason it has survived untouched is fear. And fear, he said, letting his talons scrape against the marble floor for effect, is nothing more than ignorance waiting to be dispelled. The counselors murmured uneasily, but greed won over caution. Minerals, water, fertile land, all ripe for the taking. Permission was granted. Thus began the first invasion of Earth. Part 2. The First Strike. The Exelon fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Sol. Earth hung in the distance, a fragile blue marble against the black. No defenses challenged them. No transmissions demanded their departure. "It's empty," murmured one of Karthos's lieutenants. Karthos sneered. "Exactly as expected. Move us in. Prepare atmospheric incursion." Dropships streaked down through the clouds, descending on major population centers. The Exelon soldiers expected resistance, armies scrambling, war machines rising, planetary defenses firing. Instead, they found chaos of a different kind. Humans screamed and scattered, recording the invasion on handheld devices rather than weapons. Military vehicles did appear, but their primitive shells and projectiles bounced harmlessly off Exelon armor. The resistance was laughable. By day's end, dozens of cities had fallen. And yet, something felt wrong. Part 3. Whispers of the Past. As the conquest spread, the Exelon soldiers began to hear stories. Not defiance, not pleas for mercy, but strange, ominous whispers from the human captives. "You won't last long. They always find us. You've woken them now." Karthos dismissed it as superstition, but the unease spread. Patrols vanished without explanation. Entire battalions stopped reporting. Cities that had been secured suddenly fell silent, their Exelon occupiers gone, as if swallowed by the Earth itself. At first, Karthos suspected human insurgency, but orbital scans showed no coordinated resistance, no weapons of mass destruction hidden in the dirt. It was as if the planet itself was erasing his soldiers. Then came the first recorded sighting. Part 4. The Awakening. A squadron patrolling the ruins of an old city transmitted frantic signals before going dark. The playback was brief but chilling, shadows moving impossibly fast, shapes too large and too wrong to be human. The soldiers' plasma fire lit nothing but empty air. Then, one by one, their screams filled the channel before cutting to static. Carthos reviewed the footage himself. For the first time in his career, he felt a flicker of fear. The humans, when pressed, revealed pieces of the truth. They spoke of ancient things that slept beneath their world, remnants of wars fought before human history began. Entities bound deep in the earth, sealed away not by humans, but by civilizations long vanished. Why do you think no one invades us? One captive spat through broken teeth. Because they know. This planet is a tomb. And you've broken it open. Part 5. The Things Beneath. The first real encounter came near the oceans. One of the war barges in low orbit was dragged down, not by human weapons, but by something rising from the deep. Tentacles of bioluminescent flesh wrapped around the ship, tearing metal like paper. The war barge vanished beneath the waves in a storm of fire and boiling water. Then, in the deserts, entire divisions were swallowed by fissures that opened without warning. Something vast and serpentine slithered beneath the sands, devouring tanks and soldiers alike. In the forests, shadows moved among the trees, stalking the Exelon with patient malice. Beasts with too many eyes, too many teeth, creatures that defied physics itself. Carthos's fleet fired on them with everything they had: orbital bombardments, plasma strikes, antimatter rounds. The creatures only grew angrier. It was then that Carthos realized the horrifying truth. Earth wasn't defenseless. Earth was protected. Not by technology, not by armies, but by nightmares older than the stars. Part 6. Collapse. Panic swept the Exelon ranks. Soldiers mutinied, ships fled into the void, commanders abandoned their posts. But the horrors pursued them relentlessly. Every attempt to retreat was sabotaged by the planet itself. Warp drives failed, navigation scrambled, hulls corroded, as if the very atmosphere hated them. Carthos, desperate, demanded answers from the humans. A prisoner finally gave him one. You thought we were alone here? Earth is their prison. We're just the wardens who forgot the locks. The only reason we survive is because we never wake them. And you idiots, just set them free. The words haunted him as he watched his proud fleet be torn apart. Part 7. The Last Transmission. Within weeks, the once mighty Exelon Armada was reduced to wreckage littering Earth's skies. Cities that had been captured were retaken, not by human armies, but by the silence of abandoned streets. Nothing of the Exelon remained. The final transmission from Commander Carthos was intercepted by dozens of listening posts across the galaxy.